Hey everybody, welcome back to Trainz Model Railroad Edition, where we are working on the Santa Fe Needles District. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing quite well, thanks for asking, and we are getting some work done today. First thing I want to point out to you guys is what you'll notice right here in the beginning, if you haven't noticed already. I forgot to turn my mouse cursor back on, sorry about that. I was recording the cinematics for the Pennsylvania and Berwind just before this, and I forgot to turn the mouse cursor back on. So it's only the first half of the video, the second half I turned it back on, so sorry about that. Today we are going to get some work done on the cement plant and move down the line a little tiny bit and get some work done on the, what do you call it, the tanker, whatever, Texaco Oil Company or whatever. So a lot of you guys had mentioned in my last episode, actually not my last episode, but thank you very much for all of the nice comments on episode 3.5, all the well wishes and good luck and all that kind of stuff for my job interview. It went really well if you didn't hear, so thank you for that, and thanks for actually watching that video because it wasn't anything too impressive. But in the episode before that, I had asked you guys what to do about the cement plant. About where to place it, and a few of you had suggested just sliding the cement plant back a little bit and extending the tracks. And by doing that, then I can actually fit some tractor trailers and other trucks around the actual building. So I did that, and I think the effect is really, really good. I like the building, I like the placement, I like its location on the peninsula. It really looks cool. The only thing that we're missing is the trucking company. I'm not really too sure exactly what the operations were going to be for that, but this is fine. I think this is cool. These are some of my favorite types of freight cars to see. So it's pretty cool, in my opinion. So what I was doing through here, I needed to bring some kind of a roadway in for the trucks to come in. So I was playing with these, what is it, the Ashto? A-A-S-H-T-O? I don't know how you actually would say that. I know it's not an acronym for something necessarily, but... so I was using those roads and trying to play with the road markings and stuff a little bit, the railroad crossing and then the roads with no lines and lines, and these look pretty cool. So far these are my favorite roads to use, along with I think the other ones are the Z-Funky roads. But these are great. There's such a good variety of different options for the roads, the widths and the lines that are available. They have white lines on the shoulders, some without the white lines, some without the double yellow line. They have dash lines. There is a really good variety. I really recommend using those if you haven't already. But what I'm doing through here is just the standard, throw down a parking lot, make it kind of lived in sort of feeling of a space. Again, using the fences and these road parking lot lines. I can't remember what the asset name is. I think it's built in though. So I've been using a lot of that, and it always gives a really nice effect. So I think that's pretty cool. It helps complete the scene a little tiny bit better. I'm not too sure what other trucks would be in here. So I put a couple of cement trucks down and a couple of tractor trailers, and I think that might just be just enough. Again, I don't know what the operations are necessarily, how these things work, if they actually make the cement there, or if they just make the aggregate, or what. But I put down what seemed to look good to me, and if you didn't know what this building was, by looking at it, you see a couple cement trucks, you could easily conclude that it's some kind of a cement plant, even having never seen one before. So I went ahead and just added that. So yeah, working in some of the ground detail here, the ground... what do you call that? Ground paint, I usually refer to it as. And again, the ground paint that I found works really, really well. It's a couple different textures of sand, and I think the one with the little tufts of grass in it is actually like a prairie asset. Those are all built in, as far as I understand. But yeah, so just working on that, throwing down some ballast. Trying to think of what else to mention about this. Oh yeah, so the building itself, you'll see in just a moment, I think in this next clip about to come up, I really got the feeling that this building was kind of just dropped in, and it felt just like a building plopped down. Like it didn't have any sort of foundation to it, I guess. So again, I'm using these the median, I think it's called sidewalk median, this asset, again to add a little bit of a foundation and break up where the roadway would be from the base of the building. And it definitely adds a really, really nice effect to just give it a little bit more shape and not look so much like it's just a building dropped into the middle of this asphalt parking lot sort of thing. So yeah, I use this asset quite a bit. I know you guys have seen it a million times by now. I think it's one of the best assets out there for dividing scenes, and aside from the fences that I use, those are like my 2 most used assets. So I just use that to break up the scene a little tiny bit, give it a little bit of shape. And here I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to put underneath it. I couldn't decide. I tried using the cement slab, and I end up sticking with it, but not on this edge right here that you're seeing. It just didn't bend properly. But it actually works, in my opinion. Like, I think it looks really great, just kind of cut off, and then throw a little bit of the scenery down in there. And I don't know, it works for me. I like it. Just put a couple plants in there, and it just adds a little bit of shape and context to the building itself, and a little bit of what do you call it? Landscaping to the architecture, which is really cool. So yeah, so that's the cement plant, and now we're moving down to the Texaco. Let me look what it is. This is the Shell Oil Refinery, as it says on the track plan. Again, I was kind of like hearkening back to the oil refinery that I made in my Pennsylvania in Berwind. I think that was like episode 2 or 3. You guys really liked that episode, so I was kind of using that as a foundation. I used some of the similar assets from that. I had to go into Trainz and export them from Trainz into Trainz Model Railroad Edition. I keep forgetting, that's one thing that drives me nuts with using this totally different, I guess, version of the game, is that I don't have all the detail assets that I normally use in the P&B. They're just not installed on here. I collected stuff over the years for the P&B, and those items are just not in Trainz Model Railroad. So every time I try to look for something and it's not in there, I have to cut the video and go into Trainz and then export it and then import it, and it's just a big mess. But yeah, so I use some of those assets from the P&B oil refinery, and the effect is really good here. I talk about it a little bit in the outro, and hopefully I'm not going to repeat myself too much, but it is kind of a shallow scene, but it works for this scene. I think like once you get in there and you start doing some switching and stuff like that, it's going to look really cool. The one thing that I don't like about it, and it's really a track plan issue, is that this siding comes right off of the main track. There's no like tail track or like lead track. Like the switch off of the main just goes straight into the oil refinery. So I might adjust that maybe in the next episode. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. But let me know what you guys think about that. Just kind of extending that switch a little bit further down so that it's not right on the main track, right on that bend there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I tried moving some of these assets like half into the backdrop to just give some depth and not crowd the scene too much. That was my fear, was just overcrowding the scene. But again, as an oil refinery, I really wanted to have a lot of tanks and pipes and that kind of thing, because that's just how they look in real life. So yeah, I'm bringing in some of these elevated pipes right along the backdrop just to add some depth to it. And then I bring in a road in just a moment here, and I adjust the road a couple of times. I wasn't really sure where to go with it, so I just made like a little bit of a turn. But the effect is good. It looks like just like a industrial road just cutting right through the scene, and it helps break it up a little tiny bit. And especially since this is a scene that's on the inside of a bend, or I guess it's on the outside of the bend, but it's tucked into the corner. It helps kind of direct the eye a little bit like around the scene from one side of it to the other, and add a little bit of visual interest to it, so it's not just flat. You don't usually want to build things directly flat from front to back, because it can look cramped and crowded, and it can look really flat. So by adding some dimension to it, add some depth, build things on an angle, they look bigger and deeper than they actually might be, just because everything's on an angle. So yeah, just going through here, just throwing down some more details. I think I might add some more trucks and some other little details like that, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. And yeah, I think that's just about all I'm going to talk about for this time-lapse. We are coming up on a couple of cinematics and then the outro, so enjoy the rest of this time-lapse, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the time lapse. We are back here in live mode, and there's just a couple things I want to go over with you and do with you real quick before we wrap up this episode. I actually don't really have too much of a game plan for what I'm going to talk about, so I'm just going to kind of ad-lib as we go. Let's do this real quick. We're going to finish off this edge of the fascia and do a little scenicking really quick. And just take a look at a couple things. What do you guys think about that cement plant? I think it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. How about this scene over here? You guys let me know what you think about this. It's kind of a shallow scene. It has some depth because it goes right into the corner, and I like that a lot. But it does feel a little cramped. I guess if you're viewing it from this angle, it feels pretty good. But if it had a little bit more depth, I'd probably be a little bit more happy with it. One thing I don't like about this part of the map here is this bend, and I might have to try to mess with this off camera a little tiny bit, but check this out. Look how sharp this bend is right here, and it's kind of like that in the track plan, so it's not out of the realm of HO scale, but man, like check this out. If I take this train and drag it up a little tiny bit, up to here, it's not out of the realm of HO scale, like, crampedness, but, like, those couplers are not even connected anymore. So it's just that tight that the couplers are glitching out. It was worse when I looked at it earlier. But, I mean, I guess when you view it from this angle, from the regular viewing angle, it actually doesn't really look bad at all. So, I don't know. I might try to keep it. I might mess with it a little tiny bit. I think the big problem is that there's this junction right here. So where the spline points are, it makes it very tight. And this junction has to be here for trains to get out of this yard and have a crossover. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a better spot to put the crossover. I can mess with that a little tiny bit. But for now, that's what it's looking like. Not the best, not the worst. But it could use a little bit of work. It can be improved. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so going forward, I am going to be, sorry, I'm like focusing on what I'm doing here. What I'm going to do in the next episode is move down into the yard over here, and we'll see how much we can get done down here. I doubt I'll get the whole thing done. There's a turntable that's got to get put in here. I know there's a scrap yard that has to go in right here at this stub. That's going to be a lot of fun. You guys know I love scrap yards. So that's going to be pretty cool. What else? Yeah, so that'll probably be the next episode. And then what we're going to do in the future, I'm starting to plan out where I'm going to go with this series at this point because, as you guys know, I'm going to be moving. So yeah, I'm trying to get everything pre-recorded and figure out what I need to do in order for things to make sense and come together and, you know, be some quality content. That's not the texture I wanted. So I don't want to leave you guys with crap content just for the sake of having something uploaded on my channel. So I want to make sure that I have an idea what we're going to do in the next few episodes after that. We have to signal this whole thing. We also need to add the fascia and make this actually like a train room, a model railroad room, because that's after all what this is. So that's going to be fun. I've only done that once before. What am I looking for? Shrubs. So we'll do a little bit of that in the future. I don't know how I'm going to signal this thing. I have to figure out what the train lengths are going to be. And decide how the operations go about. But that should be a fun episode. That one I actually might do mostly live, just so you guys can understand what my thought process is when I go through and drop all the signals down. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, what I have time for. Additionally, you guys have mentioned that I should check out that texture again. That I should get some trains from SRS trains, some freeware, Union Pacific stuff, and Southern Pacific and BNSF, and that. So I did. I went over there and I picked up some of these just now. I haven't looked at them yet, so let's see what we got. It looks like the -9 has some kind of errors or is missing something, but this one, it's a pretty nice model. Yeah, that's really nice. Does it change numbers? 8291, 80. Okay, so it's got ARN. Chameleon live release settings. So it looks like we could change the texture. Did that change anything? Texture 1. All right, well, I didn't see any change there, but that's okay. And the other one I got is this UP. I only had time to just grab a couple of them really quick after work. That's pretty nice. I like the worn lettering and everything. Let's actually get rid of those guys. Put you on there. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. That is going to be cool. I like that a lot. I can dig it. Let's throw a few more of these grass clusters around. Yeah, so yeah, head over, if you guys are looking for similar equipment, head over to SRS Trainz. It is freeware. They do accept donations, and I do suggest you drop them a little donation out of courtesy. Hit some shrubs. Yeah, I might be wasting my time here if I'm gonna rework this turn. That's all right. So yeah, off camera, actually, let's talk about this scene quick. I did add a couple of other pipes in the background here just to add some depth to it. I do think that it needs some more details. Maybe a few trucks or something like that. Another fence or parking lot. I don't know, something like that. And then something to hide this corner here and blend it together. Yep, and then we'll blend it all together with the rest of the track, and we should be on our way. We're gonna have to revisit Barstow to finish it off. I didn't finish anything over here, so we will revisit this. But I think overall everything is looking pretty cool, if I have to say. I'm liking it so far. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to operate on, and a real good place to showcase some equipment. If you like big long trains and double stack trains, and you know, with some manifest trains here and there, and as well as passenger Amtrak stuff, which I think is really cool. I always love the passenger element mixed in with freight. It adds another layer of, if you're trying to do operations or things like that, it's just another layer of things you have to think about. So that's pretty cool. But I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along. The next one, like I said, we're going to go into the yard, and then we'll do some signaling, and then we'll hopefully finish this up pretty soon. There will be a few episodes in a row of Trainz Model Railroad, so brace yourselves. It's going to be a Trainz Model Railroad couple of weeks. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.